I want you guys to take a look at this video. It was recorded on a smartphone and it was a little dark. So it may be the lighting's not the best. And then it was messaged to me. So over MMS, the quality of the video may have been reduced a little bit, but I think you guys will get the gist of it. And I'll just put it out there. Hopefully this video is suitable for this platform and it doesn't get my channel banned or deleted or in really, really big, deep trouble. Okay, here, check it out.
Driving to Dalhart, Texas, and there's a train going through with all kinds of Army equipment. Look at that. Humvee, Army truck, weapons truck. What the heck is the Army doing with all this gear? Is this going to Ukraine?
So what do you make of this? Now, granted, if you heard the context of the video or the person recording the video, they had their own thoughts and opinions about what was happening and why it was happening and potentially where where our resources, our assets where their final destination would be. And if in fact, let's just say it was 5 minutes and that's when the video started, then it is essentially a 5-mile long train. Assuming average rate of speed, 60 miles an hour, a mile a minute. And so that's 5 miles at least of military equipment that is going to be sent who knows where. Okay. Now let's just say we actually listen and pay attention to what economists are saying, what the news is saying. Granted, depending on which MSM you read or watch or listen to, taken with a grain of salt. But you and I, we both know, we all know really, or at least we should, the current situation that we're in with our economy, with our supply chains. This is one of the reasons why the Biden administration was so adamant about signing into law the exact final nail in the coffin that eliminated the possibility for a railroad workers union strike last year. It's because he knew he was going to need these railroads to transport these assets. But if we look at how much debt we've taken on, if we look at disruptions in the supply chain, if we look at labor figures, if we look at strikes, if we look at global conflict, imports, tariffs, the whole nine, how are we going to replace this equipment? How are we supposed to realistically replace this equipment? We can't even build the infrastructure needed for this electrical grid of remote control cars that are going to be riding around, a bunch of Teslas and Rivians. And I think everybody's on board now for the most part. Even Lamborghini has come out with their EV. So I'm just a little bit confused and perplexed and trying to wrap my mind around this entire situation. But the simple fact of the matter is that we're in the middle of the most dynamic shit show that we have possibly ever seen or will experience yet. It's amazing. Like, we're literally on the tail end of the worst possible 4 years in history, while the best possible solution is about to go to jail and his entire network and team is literally falling apart and collapsing around him. I don't know if you guys watch or read the news or scan the internet for the latest and breaking news besides what's brought to you here on YouTube, but I almost kind of want to avoid it. And I know I can't because I have to stay aware, I have to stay alert, I have to stay ready, I have to stay prepared. But it's getting pretty bad, y'all. This is not good at all. But the simple fact of the matter is they're no longer, in my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're no longer talking the same language or using the same tone or making the same predictions and projections. There is no talk, in my opinion, of recovery because they have essentially positioned their chess pieces around the board so that they can dominate. They couldn't have done that if everyone knew that's what they were trying to do. So instead, they painted this illusion, this fantasy vision of recovery, K-shaped recovery or whatever alphabetical letter they wanted to use on this graph that was going to show that, it's going to go down, but it's going to come back up. We are potentially heading towards the absolute rock bottom, and it will come back up, but only for some, only for a few, only for those who know, only for the select who aren't necessarily just the elite, but those who are paying attention, those who are listening, those who are working, those who are diligently preparing and actively working towards a reasonable solution that is, in fact, going to happen more than likely in the next 6 to 9 months, maybe sooner. And we will continue to have these discussions and these chats and these talks about this, but it's going to be more than just the stock market. It's going to be more than just the housing market. It's going to be more than just the automotive industry. It's going to be more than just what happens in this country. It's going to be big. And there will be more distractions here and there, like, instances of stores like Walmart laying off more people or introducing more AI and technology or getting very aggressive in the self-checkout area or roping off the frozen food section and throwing away tons of food that people could realistically use and eat. There will be more distractions. Target is actually having its K-shaped recovery, basically, and it's got some new serving plate or something that they're pulling people in the stores for, and they're going to completely ignore and gloss over everything that has happened in the past and completely rewrite history and the future, and none will be the wiser. Really and truly, none will be the wiser. If you think about it, all the events that we were preparing for to fight through last year, what happened? There isn't even a mention of a resolution. Food shortages, gas prices, diesel supply, the freight and supply chain disruptions and interruptions, drought, and the list goes on. And all of a sudden, now we're on to something else. Forget about that. Granted, we are in a little bit of a pickle with the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and that whole disaster and that debacle and that money laundering. I almost feel like Hunter Biden is actually behind some of this, but that would make it way too simple, way too easy. So either way, this is where we are today, folks. And it's not even like we're comparing apples to apples. It's like apples to bananas or something. Like, this is bananas. It's BANANAS. It's like, this is crazy. But either way, here we are. Yet another day. Fighting the good fight. I hope you guys are doing well. Until next time, Godspeed.